Memphis is the home of the blues, rock and roll, and Earle Farrell.
From the Collierville Square to the mighty Mississippi, the Earle Farrell for Memphis show is all about good things that happen across the Bluff City and the people who make Memphis cool.
The Earle Farrell for Memphis show is made possible by our title sponsor, Southern Security Federal Credit Union, and by Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm Insurance.
By Dive Shop and Diventures nationwide. Jim Keras Chevrolet with George Gully. Napa Cafe Memphis and Glenda Hastings. Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. For Memphis Magazine. The Live at the Garden Concert Series. And the Orpheum Theater Group Memphis. And by Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Family owned and operated for more than 40 years. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible.
And now, coming to you from Lansky Brothers, Clothier to the King, inside the world-famous Peabody Hotel with the heart of a cowboy and Memphis in his soul. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Earle Farrell.
And thank you very much, and welcome into Lansky's, Clothier to the King, and the world-famous Peabody Hotel. We're immediately going via Zoom to Dallas, Texas, and my good friend, Cary Broussard. Good afternoon, Cary.
Good afternoon, Earl. I like the way you said my name.
Yeah.
Very French.
Very French, yeah. So my background is so heavily French. West Texas French. Well, you look great. You look great.
Well, thank you. So do you. I'm so happy to be here with you. And what a cool show you have from Lansky Brothers. Wow.
Well, you have a tie to Lansky's and the Peabody. When I first got to know you, you were a PR person here at the Peabody Hotel.
I sure was. It was a really great experience. Oh, my goodness. I took the Peabody Ducks on the World Duck Tour. I took Peabody Ducks with David Less, by the way.
Wow.
A famous. He was head of events then. He used to do all of the rooftop musical events.
Sure.
And, you know, we took the Ducks to the premiere of the movie Howard the Duck.
Oh, wow.
That was crazy.
Touring
it was crazy.
Touring with live ducks would be an interesting proposition.
It was fantastic. It was a promotion to get meeting planners interested in booking meetings and events at the Peabody. And so we took them to Washington, D.C., we took them to New York, we took them all over the country to find out, you know, and they laid eggs on the on the tour.
I've certainly laid a few eggs myself on the tour. It's
yeah, you know what? We said, what would Earl do on a duck tour? And that's what we took him to Los Angeles. So it was great.
It really sounds like something I would come up with. Here's the deal. We travel the world and get paid for it and take some ducks along.
I was so that way. I actually was like, I'd never been to Los Angeles. I think we need to take the Ducks to the premiere of Howard the Duck. And I saw the preview of the movie and at the Malco Theater, and it was like, okay, this is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I think it's really good for the Ducks. Let's do it for the Ducks.
If the animals are in it, they're going to be a winner. It worked out for you. Later on, we got to work together at Walker & Associates and worked on a number of big projects there, and we get to even spend more time together. But then you went on to Wyndham Properties, which was an incredible job with Worldwide Wyndham Properties.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that was one of the reasons that the Trammell Crow family hired me, is because I had worked at the Peabody Hotel, and they knew the Bells family.
And they knew about the duck tour.
And they knew about the duck tour. They're like, are you the one that took the ducks on the World Duck Tour? So working with you, if anybody gets a chance to work with you, they know this, you know, you're just unique and fun and always coming up with creative ideas, and you never give up, which is all about, what I like to talk about with my book, From Cinderella to CEO, is never give up and keep going. Which
was so apropos for you, because having known a lot of women that had advanced to executive positions, I always knew that it wasn't as easy for them as it was for guys. And I always thought, just from standing back and watching, I go, this is not right. And you actually did something about it, not just in your own life, but for other women, and writing the book, which the theory behind it is for so many years women look for some Prince Charming to come along and save them and make their life wonderful. And your theory was, hey, they may not come along, and maybe you love this person, but they're not the Prince Charming that can save you and take you away for happiness. So you might have to do a lot of it yourself, and here's how you do that.
Absolutely. And I think really most women, we don't expect to get, a break, or we don't expect to be treated in a way that's different from men that would make it easy on us, I guess. But it's like we bring so much, a whole different perspective to companies and organizations and to the world that it's really important to have the voices of women heard.
Well, and the other thing, and I saw this happen plenty of times, is, and I would always tell women that I knew, said, look, you have to be judged on your merit and that alone. And anybody that says this is a faster way to get there by doing whatever is absolutely inappropriate and wrong. And I said, you have to stand up to those people. And because I've known a lot, especially young women who think, well, maybe you just have to flirt with them a little bit. I said, that never works, because then it always advances. You just don't let it begin there, and stop it from the very beginning and say, hey, we're here to do business, and that's what I'm doing. And what has been the reaction? Because you tour and speak to women all over the world.
So you're asking me, I'm sorry, repeat the question.
The reaction you get from women when they first sit down and listen to what you're telling them about, you don't have to play that game.
Absolutely. I think it's, almost like a given now that you don't have to play it. And over the years, and really and truly, like, there have been times where you're put in situations where, okay, I could not follow my my morals or follow what I believe to be the right thing to do. But in the long run, you're so right. You have to stop and think, how am I going to feel about this in the long run if I were to do something that didn't make me feel good about myself? And so women, I think, really and truly are, we depend on each other to lift each other up also, because if we don't do that for each other, we don't help anybody.
Well, my sister's a very strong personality, which you probably would expect of being my sister.
Really? I'm shocked.
She was the president of a bank in Texas, and they came down with some new policy on high and said, this is what we're going to start doing, and you're going to be the one to introduce it. And Cynthia took her letter opener and stabbed her desk and said, I'm drawing the line right here. I said, but not drawing it.
I love that. It's like a scene from a movie.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Does she go on to do movies? Because that's a great scene.
Let me tell you, she could do anything she wants to, but I just loved it for her to stand up and say, hey, I could get loud and I could get violent too. And it certainly got their attention. They didn't go through with their plan. And but it was other things like, the women fly commercial and the boys club gets on the private company jet and flies someplace. I mean, it's just stuff like that if I'd been a woman, I would have been a radical. I was radical enough being a guy, but it's. I just think that people feel so kind of intimidated by companies and bosses that they feel like they got to go along with whatever they do. I mean, I guess I started with my teachers, bucking them, and I continued to do it all through my life with different bosses. And if I didn't agree with something, I would tell them I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I love that. And I think yesterday, you and I were talking about this earlier. I have a podcast, Cinderella CEO on Air, and I interviewed a woman yesterday who lives in Sweden, and her message was about how important it is to have women on boards.
Absolutely.
In particular, it doesn't have to be a law. It's not like it has to be, written in stone that you have to have a certain number of women on a board. And Sweden doesn't do that, but they do recommend strongly that 25% of the number of women be on the board, at least 25% be women. And she said the results are financial. The results are they have a better culture. They have the talent and recruitment that they bring. The recruiting of great talent increases because they have women and men working together.
Yep.
And so it starts at the top, is I think to your point, is
And
it's
it
a
has to be
smart business.
well, in my organization, it's 50-50 because Rob and Beth, who work on the show, and Kathy and I work on the show. And Rob and I just say, whatever y'all want. Is that the way it works, Beth? Yes, sir. Yes,
So smart. So smart, Beth and Kathy
sir.
and Rob. So
But
thank you for doing great work.
well, and the thing is, you listen to everybody. Everybody should have input into whatever effort you're having, and an equal input. Great ideas can come from anywhere, and bad ideas can try to weasel their way in. But if you've got enough strong people in the organization, they'll say, "I understand where you're going with this, but that ain't gonna hunt." And you have to be honest, but that's why you surround yourself with strong people too, I think.
Yes, yes. And Earl, you have done so well from with your team to be at Lansky Brothers now. It's one of my favorite stores. My husband loves it when we get to Memphis. I love to
Logan,
come
your
to Memphis.
husband, yeah,
Logan, my husband, creative director at Malmo when he was there,
yeah.
and also was very worked on the Peabody account. So that was one of the ways we met, which was kind of neat.
And y'all have been everywhere. You lived in New York. You taught at NYU, and so you've had and now you're in Dallas, and
Now I'm in Dallas. Oh, yeah.
I moved from Dallas in 1978, and every time I go back,
That's
I go, thank God I left here. There's too many people.
Dallas and Texas itself, is a unique place. I
Yeah.
never thought I'd live here, but I'm glad I do.
Let,
Memphis, I still bleed Memphis blue. I love
well, it's
Memphis.
a great city, which is why we do the show downtown and trying to get people to come back downtown and take part in all of it because it is an incredible city. Last night we were downtown, Kathy and I went to see Neil Diamond, A Beautiful Noise. And you said when I talked to you this morning, you just saw it.
Yes, we've seen it here in the Dallas area. I think it was in Irving, and it's just such a great show. I highly recommend it. And I was never like a huge Neil Diamond fan, except when I went to the, theater like you did, you realize how many
Yeah.
songs he wrote and sang, and they're gorgeous
I
songs.
think he had something like 400 hits, more than Elvis did. The difference between Elvis and Neil Diamond wrote nearly all of his stuff, and Elvis
Oh,
didn't write any of it. People wrote and sent to him. Think of how
oh,
incredible, but how could you get bigger than Elvis? Even though Neil had more
I,
songs, Elvis is still
I had
the
no
king.
idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea the King didn't write his own songs.
No, in
Huh.
fact, they always said he was such an incredible talent because he was good looking, he was charismatic, he could move, he could sing, but he didn't write. They said if he could have written, there's no telling how much money he and the Colonel would have made, but they did okay as it was. But it's a
Yeah.
great show. It's still running through the rest of through Sunday here in Memphis. In fact, there's a lady just in the store that was shopping for clothes here at Lansky's. They're going tonight. And I said, well, you're going to love the show.
Oh,
And then everybody sings along with Sweet Caroline. And here's a story you may be able to shed some light on. We talked about it briefly earlier, that in the play, in the musical, they talk about Neil Diamond was in Memphis recording at American Studios, and that he was in a room, and they called it a bad, cheap motel. I heard it was
hmm.
here at the Peabody is where it was. And then you brought up the fact that the Peabody was closed. When I got here in 78, it was closed and didn't open until the early 80s. And I think Sweet Caroline was actually recorded in the 60s sometime.
Wow.
So
So it was before. Hmm.
before
I
they
wonder.
reopened. So it may
Yeah.
have been at a cheap motel. I like the Peabody story. And then the other part of the story is I talked to the guy that's head of Sam Phillips recording here in Memphis. And he was telling me last night, I ran into him at the Neil Diamond show, and he said that Neil Diamond was supposed to be recording those 2 days. He wrote Sweet Caroline, but he didn't have anything to do because Elvis called and said, I want the studio for 2 days. And what did American Studio did? They gave the time to Elvis and said, when Elvis gets through, you can come in. So, isn't that a
Wow.
great story, though?
Such a great story. And, Memphis has so many musicians and people who love music that just gravitate to, I still say our city.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
sure you see people
it'll
all the
always be your
time.
city, yeah. And people
Yeah.
still miss you here. That's one other reason I want to have you on, because everybody loves Cary and
Thanks.
Logan, so you're missed here.
Yeah,
But,
Logan's staying hi. He hates to be on camera, so say hi, Logan.
hey, Logan.
He goes,
I
he
feel
said hi.
the presence of Logan. So
Hey,
there.
hey.
Well, one thing I told my family I was going to be on your show, and my aunt Harriet Beeson was the owner of Burke's Bookstore
Oh
in the
wow.
legacy of 100 years. I think they're getting
Yeah.
ready to celebrate in a couple of weeks. Corey and Cheryl Messler's Burke's Bookstore. So we have a tie to that bookstore. I just want to give them a shout out. The Beeson
Absolutely.
family were
Absolutely.
owners. My
Well,
cousin Meg is flying in for the celebration. She's excited.
tell them congratulations for them. And Burks has been a huge part of Memphis literary scene forever. And
I know. Small business owners,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
and the city supporting Burks is, just been so important. Logan just slipped me a note. He says Memphis is used in lyrics, song lyrics more than any other city.
That's
He
true.
hasn't confirmed that,
No,
but that's what he thinks.
I've heard the same thing before. I mean, it's like hundreds of songs. Memphis is mentioned, and it's a great place. It's great music, but it's a great everything, and you're part of it forever. Both of you are.
Thank you.
Continued success on Cinderella to CEO, and your podcast named the same thing. Check it out.
Cinderella CEO on air. Will you be a guest on my podcast, Earl? I'd love to talk to
I will do it. You just tell me
you. Okay.
when, and I'll show up
All right, we'll do
via
it.
Zoom, unless I can come to Dallas. I'd love
Via
to be
Zoom.
there in the studio with you.
Well,
But great,
either way.
great talking to you and seeing you, and hope we can see you again soon.
Earl, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're sure welcome. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to check in with George Gully and Randy Wright with the Dive Shop. Where's a good place to breathe underwater? We'll tell you coming up.
Hi, I'm Dawn Grader, President and CEO of Southern Security Federal Credit Union. We're the proud title sponsor of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show. Coming to you live from Lansky's in the world-famous Peabody Hotel and celebrating all of the great things about our great city, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm so proud to be part of the Earle Farrell for Memphis show, streaming live from Lansky's from the Peabody. We will be showcasing not only Napa Cafe, but some great restaurants around town. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, Memphis Mid-South. And first, I'd like to thank you for visiting with Earle Farrell Memphis today, and we want to support him just like you do. I'm George Gully, one of the sales managers at Jim Keras Chevrolet. We've been in business here in Memphis for over 75 years. I've been associated with the company for almost 25, and I'll help you find the right car, truck, or SUV here at not only our Chevy store, but also Buick, GMC, Nissan, Subaru. We can help you find that right car. Keep watching, Earl, and come see me. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Kathy Thurman Edwards, State Farm, and I'm so excited to be one of the sponsors for the Earle Farrell from Memphis show, broadcasting live from Lansky's at the Peabody. And I'll tell you all about what we've got going on at our office. Gift cards for quotes. No purchase necessary. I'm better looking than a lizard.
Hi, this is Randy Wright from the Dive Shop and Diventures in Memphis. We've been in Memphis over 64 years teaching people to dive, snorkel, and swim. We'd love to have you come join us and have some fun. We're also a part of the Dive Ventures group with 18 locations across the country, stretched from Phoenix to Vienna, Virginia. Please give us a call. We'll be able to take care of you at 999 South Yates in Memphis, or call us at 901-763-DIVE.
Hi, I'm Brett Batterson, President and CEO of the Orpheum Theater Group in downtown Memphis. We are so pleased with our partnership with the Earle Farrell Show and very happy that he is broadcasting live from Lansky's at the historic Peabody Hotel. We're all here to make Memphis better.
Hi, I'm Mitch Wright.
And I'm his son, Mickey.
And we're the owners of Mitch Wright Plumbing, Heating, and Air. and proud sponsors of the Earle Farrell from Memphis show.
We're thankful to be part of the Memphis community. We've been in business for 42 years, taking care of people and loving the people of the Mid-South.
Hey, my name is Jake. I'm with Phoenix Unequaled Home Entertainment. I just wanted to introduce myself and kind of what I do here at Phoenix. I'm a sales engineer. A lot of the times we talk about home theaters, but there's so much more that we offer. We offer a lot of home security solutions, as well as water detection and everything. So if you guys ever need anything, give us a call. We'll get you guys fixed up.
And welcome back to Lansky's, Clothier to the King. Joining us now in his Lansky jacket, George Gully with Jim Keras Chevrolet. He did. Always looking sharp. In fact, I was talking to somebody this morning, and we were saying, boy, but you sell a lot of jackets for Hal. I said, we have, because
I'm sure.
But people
I've got one.
You do. You've got one of your
Might
earlier
have to get
appearances.
another now that it's fall.
Well, you got the fall inventory in.
It's looking sharp
Yeah,
in here.
I love this one I'm wearing, and you got a good looking one too. But they're definitely here, and the price is great. I mean, compared to some of the other stores in town, more than half the price of those jackets. So, not that your cars are half the price of everybody else, but they're quality cars and trucks.
Thank you for the compliment, Earl. The Keras family of dealerships, because now we're 7.
Wow.
It's just known we're the #1 retailer of Chevys in the Memphis area. We're #1 in Nissan, #1 in Subaru. We've got a Buick GMC store, which aspires to be #1 because that's how we got started. But we've got to always represent a great price and selection.
And I know the Keras boys are, just like their dad, have been just very attentive to the fact that the quality stays there, the attentiveness of it. Ron Olson just bought a Nissan from...
yeah, he did. We were happy to help you and Ron over the years.
And one thing I really appreciated was you actually gave me lessons on how to operate the electronics and the Bluetooth and all that. And they did the same thing for Ron, although he didn't catch on as quickly as I did. I'm just saying.
He's just a little behind the curve, Earl, but he'll catch on.
He loves his car, and in fact, he's out in California at a wedding. He said he's
really?
ready to get back. I mean, the thing about Memphis is you're always glad to get away, but then you can't wait to get back home again. It's like Elvis said, what did you miss about Memphis? Everything. And so...
now, it's home for many of us, myself included.
And just like Carrie Jill was saying, you're Memphian, you're always a Memphian, no matter where you are then. You recently bought, I want to get an update on this, a totally electric Chevrolet.
I did.
And how has your experience been in the learning curve?
Well, the learning curve, which it's growing on me. I've had it a month. And I decided to jump into this electric forum at a last minute. It wasn't something I thought about. I've enjoyed it. It's quiet. That's the first thing that people get in my car.
Have you gotten out of it and left it running yet?
One time. One time.
Happens to everybody.
It knows when I'm close by. The keys interact, and it starts the minute I sit in the car.
Oh, you don't even push a button?
I don't push anything.
Wow.
I just put it in reverse or drive, and I don't have to buy gas. I've noticed that now that I've gone a month. I won't have oil changes.
That's right, and you don't have a transmission. So your transmission can never go out.
No. So you made one statement, which I bought it. No, I leased it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm joking in a way, but that being said, for individuals that are looking to acquire an electric vehicle, do some homework, think through it. Think about the miles you're going to be driving, the amount of gas you're going to be using, the potential for oil changes, etc. And then always make sure you have warranty.
Yes.
These are the kind of cars that require expensive repairs if needed.
If anything happens to the battery, which is huge, or the electric motor, that's 90% price of the car.
I mean, they're rolling computers, Earl, and to the people out there that have the Teslas or have the electric vehicles by varying manufacturers, that battery could be $15,000, $16,000, $17,000.
And so, conversely, gasoline cars, which there's been kind of a change in expectation, if you will. I know that the Blue Oval Ford was building here. I don't know if they've actually switched over. They were going to go totally electric trucks, and I think they were building it with the fact that they might change back to all gas before. I think maybe they're thinking that now. But the big car, and I know Chevrolet's working on that, are the hybrids. People
that's
seem to
going
really
to be the wave of the future. You and I are on the same path there, and the hybrid vehicle makes sense as far as saving the gas and helping the world, if you will. But I think you're going to see big numbers within 5 years on the hybrids.
Yeah. My brother-in-law has one, a Lexus hybrid. And the thing he loves about it is it charges itself. I mean, your car, you have to plug it in someplace.
I do have to do that, but I have an advantage in that I've got a charger within seconds of where my office is, as you know.
And while you're at work, you could be charging your vehicle.
I can.
But the hybrid just makes so much sense. You use less gas. Does the hybrid have a transmission? Or
yes, it does, because the hybrid will run electric for the first roughly 150 miles, and it is self-charging. However, it can run out of electricity, and then it converts over to a gasoline engine.
Total gas.
So that gives you the ability, say you and I were going to head to the coast this afternoon, and I had 50% electricity. Well, by the time we got to Batesville, we flipped over to gas.
Yeah.
Then we could fill back up in gas once we're south of Jackson and carry it all the way to the coast.
But you can keep rolling.
And that's the key element. I don't have as much travel needs as others might.
And you also have a gas vehicle at home.
Sure I do.
Your wife
My
does.
wife does.
And so you said if we travel, we're going to get in that car and go. But around town, the electric car works perfectly.
And I called her before I did the deal,
honey.
Which
that's
you got to remind. We've been married 35 years.
That's how you're still married. Is you call and check.
As I said, we're going to have to use your car on the trip.
Communications. My son is a big cowboy. Works on a ranch. His wife.
Sure.
So they both have trucks. Yeah, I don't think electric works as well, especially if you're hauling horse trailers and that kind of stuff, because everything pulls on that electricity.
That's right. There's going to be an involvement. We do offer trucks, as do other manufacturers. Rivian is a new startup company that's been big into it. Of course, Tesla. I think you're going to see those maybe play out. I don't think the market for the American public is there in trucks at this point.
Well, I just heard so many people that have hauled horse trailers, and if you're in really mountainous areas, that really
it
pulls
drains
in.
hard on the battery. No doubt about that.
Which is why I was so concerned with the big push to make everybody go electric, because I think there are some people it's going to be great for.
Yeah, it was political, no doubt in my mind on that.
I think so too. So the good thing about America is that things are usually market driven. That's how you guys operate. That's how you have become successful. Is you make sure your products are worth the money, and you've always been very honest with your public, which is why I love you coming on the show. Is tell us what's going on in the automobile industry.
We just had a client, and by the way, thank you for allowing me to come on second or third. I sent Earle a text that said I can't leave right now because I've got two clients coming in, and one was doing exactly what you said. He was trying to understand, should I buy this new one or should I buy this other vehicle with a few thousand miles on it? And in some instances, it's better to take the depreciated asset and jump in at a lower price. But there are things going on in the market right now, Earle, that I haven't seen in some time, and the manufacturers, the term in our industry is days supply.
Days supply.
And that means we're sitting on some merchandise. And what do you do when that happens? It's just like Mr. Lansky
Let's
here.
Move
you
it.
Put it on sale.
Let's move
and
it.
you move it out. And you make deals you wouldn't have thought otherwise, and you don't worry about it. You just keep on moving, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
And if you're good at it, just like Hal Lansky here in the shop, he's got some jackets over here that they're on sale, but very few because the fall lineup has come in.
Sure.
And so that's what everybody's buying. But so there always is a deal here and always a deal at Jim Keras Chevrolet and all of his other stores.
We're trying.
Yeah. You want to give them a phone number if you got any more questions?
Absolutely. I'll give them my cell number, 901-491-8343, and I'll be back in the Jim Keras Chevy store tomorrow, ready to do business. Give me a call. I'll be happy to help you.
George Gully. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me today.
You bet, always. Up next is Randy Wright with the Dive Shop. We're going to find out what they don't put dive trips on sale, but they do promote them. And so we're going to have him slide into George's chair and and find out where some really cool places are going to be going this year are. We actually got a video clip that was shot a while back of Randy on board a boat going out to do some scuba diving. And just watching the video, which we're getting ready to show you here in just a second. And welcome to Lansky's, Randy. This is a clip, and you'll recognize when you look on your monitor there. This is you, and see if you recognize where you were.
All right, everybody, here we go.
Well, we're on a boat.
We're heading out to the reef. Say hello, we got Randy and Ryan. All right. Yeah,
oh, let's see. That would have been in Grand Cayman.
So,
yes.
What are we looking forward to doing today? Freezing underwater. And having fun doing it. Yeah, 3,000. There you go. All right.
Let's see. Actually, no, that was in Lou Key, Florida. Where that was.
I remember seeing the title. It was LOU.
It's LOOE.
LOOE.
Lou Key, Florida. Yeah, it's it's a sleeper. A lot of people aren't aware of it. It's halfway between Marathon and Key West. The reef is what we call a finger reef, meaning it's like these ridges on a flat bottom, and the ridges are coral and the bottom's sand, and you got all this life that lives on the coral. And there's about 5 miles of this. It's right off of Little Pine Key. If you know, a lot of people from Memphis are aware of that. And it's absolutely a fabulous place to dive. It's 17 to 35 feet. You will see lobsters on every dive. You'll see sharks on every dive. You'll see octopus out in the daytime on this thing. The reef is pristine. It goes north to south in the Keys, which is different from what you get up in Largo. So you very rarely have weather when you can't get out there. I mean, it's just you get an hour and 15 minutes on a dive because it's shallow, and you move from space to space along this 5 miles of reef, and it is just phenomenal.
I think it's really good, too, for people who are just learning to dive, because you're not going deep enough to have the ear problems. The deeper you go, the more you have to learn to clear your ears and all that. And people are very sensitive to it at first, but so the shallow the dive, but this one you still see plenty of wildlife.
And all the colors are there because you got plenty of light.
Yeah.
You know, the deeper you go, the less color there is, which is why we always carry flashlights underwater.
Put some color to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and the other thing, too, is you don't have to go around the world to find great places to dive. We got the Gulf of America right here.
Well, we sure do.
And there are plenty of places to go, and people do. Last time I was in Destin, we saw a number of dive boats out.
I learned to dive in the Gulf and spent most of my time diving in the oil rigs off of Louisiana. Dive frequently out of Destin, Panama City, Pensacola, Orange Beach. They all have great wrecks, a lot of artificial stuff down there that's been put down to create reefs, and it's just a fabulous place to dive.
I mentioned the promo today that you were coming on, and that these are some of your trips coming up. Lessons, trips, and not just scuba lessons, but snorkeling.
And swimming.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great Christmas gifts, and this is the time of year people start thinking about, what can I get somebody that's a very unique gift? And these are very unique because
absolutely
you're selling or giving presents that are a life-changing adventure.
Yeah, that's what we call it, the adventure that lasts a lifetime, because you can do it. I've got people that became certified and even became instructors after they were 70 years old, so it's something you can always do.
In fact, even as a career, you actually do instructions at Ole Miss down in Oxford.
We can take you at the dive shop or down at Ole Miss. We can take you from never having dove before to being a dive instructor. So.
And what a life that! And you can work worldwide because people are always looking for instructors because they come and they go just like any other business.
Yeah, there's Mr. McNeese Sr. apparently came up with the phrase, there's two things you got to have in a dive shop, instructors and lead. And both of them seem to evaporate on a fairly regular basis.
Well, the lead is not for weaponry, but to get you to stay under the water is, and then I like the term y'all used out on the boat, we're going to go breathe underwater for a while and have a lot of fun doing it.
Well, I told a police officer on the interstate one day in just kind of an accidental meeting. he accidentally turned his lights on, and I accidentally pulled over. And he said, "Where are you going in such a hurry?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to get home." He goes, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "I teach people to breathe underwater." And that choked him up enough that he gave me a warning.
You come up with a good answer, and don't be smart with them, and there's a good chance it'll be a warning. This is also the time of year you guys take a lot of trips. What's up next?
Absolutely. We've got great stuff coming up, actually starting in February. We've got some things during the fall, but in February we're headed down to Cozumel. Then in May we've got Komodo, where the dragons are in Indonesia. And then we go from there to Curacao. We've also got Dominica on the books. And then we're out to... In the latter part of 26, we're headed to Grand Cayman, and we also have a trip going to the Maldives. So, yeah, we got tons of really cool stuff coming
Where
up.
are the Maldives?
Over in the Red Sea, Indian Ocean area.
Because Rob, my producer, was talking today about when he was with CBS, they went to Malta, and he said they have no fresh water in Malta.
Yeah.
And he said it was very primitive, and he said, is it near Russia, Rob? Is that what?
Mediterranean, right? Yeah.
Mediterranean.
Yeah. Strategic point. It's a great party spot, I understand. There's no water to drink, so
it's all wine.
You drink things that come from bottles. Yeah.
Well, the good thing about getting into scuba diving is you can travel the world, and you'll see all the things the other tourists see, but then you'll see 50% of your trip will be underwater, things that the other people never see.
Get to see. That's exactly right. It's a fantastic thing to do, and even if it's something that you've never really thought about, we do try scubas. All you have to do is call the store. We'll set you up with an instructor and all the equipment. You bring a towel, a swimsuit, and great attitude, and we'll put you in the pool and show you what it's like. And then if you decide to go on with it, then we'll give you half of what you spent on that towards the purchase of your lessons. So.
You've also got another event coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We were talking earlier. Is there one of your, or was that the last time you were in? You were telling me about the luau you were getting ready to have.
Yeah, we're doing the luau, but we've got on October 23rd, we've got our annual travel night. And if you want to find out what we're doing in travel, you show up 6 o'clock it's Thursday, I think, October 23rd. We want you to come by, or the 24th, whatever that Thursday is. Want you to come by about 6. It's free. We'll have some hors d'oeuvres and some refreshments and stuff.
There's very little water on your island either, so there'll be wine there.
Yeah, we'll be talking about all of the things that we've got coming up travel-wise.
Some of which you already mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. And if they want to know more about that or anything else, give them a phone number.
Call us at 901-763-DIVE, or come by and see us on the web at Dive Ventures, DIVENTURES.com. You can see all of our 18 stores there, all of the travel programs, all of the educational opportunities. I mean, it's unbelievable. We are literally traveling the entire world over the next 18 months.
Also, check out their Facebook page. That's where we pull the video for today's show,
Yeah.
and you'll see a lot of where they go and the people that go there with them, and you'll identify with those people. Everybody's having fun. That's one thing I notice about all the videos, and people are having a good time.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We're gonna show you a big adventure and have a great time while we're out traveling.
Randy Wright with the Dive Shop and Dive Ventures. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you. Thank you so much.
You bet. That is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. You can catch this show and all the other shows on YouTube or Spotify. We'll see you next time.